I feel like I'm sitting down to do an interview, and it could be because I'm in my office and look, I'm wearing a shirt, which look, I got this new, if you can see. I love it. It's like satiny, pinstriped. I love it. It just, when I'm sitting in this situation, it does look like I'm a businesswoman. Like I work in finance or something like that, you know. Work doesn't start for another 20 minutes, so I thought I'd do an intro to this video of mine, which is my first video, and realised I actually just started filming without even thinking about the fact that you need to kind of introduce yourself. So that's what I'm doing now. I've always wanted to upload onto YouTube, but I always felt this hesitancy of judgment, what people would say, what people would think. And then I realized, first of all, YouTube is such a nice place to be. That's where I go when I want to watch a comfort thing. I don't want to see horrible comments from people, which is like on Instagram and TikTok. But I was like, you know what you have to do with that? I put in, should I start a YouTube channel into YouTube? And also, I'm 31 now. All these years I've been living in London, I was like, oh, if only I started when I was younger, if only I started when I was 17, 18. And that's just an excuse for me just not to do it. It's like, you can start it at any age. Just one day I came back from, I think I had been out that day, and I just was in a really good mood, and I sat down, you'll see, it's the next clip, in my sweats and my jumper. My hair is an absolute mess, and started talking about the books that I have at the minute. Currently, I'm kind of leaning towards like vlogging, everyday kind of life, and with a focus on books, because that is where I come to YouTube a lot of the time, is for booktube. I love it so much. It like makes me so happy inside. I'm really excited about starting this. Finally, even if nobody sees it, I don't care. I get to look at it. I'm like, oh, look at me. I edited that. I put music to this. I sat down and I did that. I mean, that in itself is amazing. This is a cold brew. It's really nice. But it's from Watch House, which is by my office. Sorry, where did my voice go there? And I don't know why I feel cheated when they take it out of a can, even though it makes no sense. But I'm like, I want a big pot of cold brew that comes out of the fridge that you've homemade. Do you know? That's what I want. Enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy the video, and any questions below, ask. And I hope that made sense as a starting. Bye. Mind your business. Mind your business when you see the outro and I'm sitting in the exact same position and I'm wearing the same clothes. Okay. Okay, so I have finally got a library card, which means I don't have to spend so much money on Kindles or buying new books. I will show you my bookcase later, but in this tiny flat in central London, I had to find a better way. And oh my God, joining a library is the best thing I've ever done. So I'm going to go through the 3 books that I have for this month, all very different, and yeah. So currently I am reading Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. It's Japanese. I would call it like a novella. I mean, it's only 160 pages, and at that, look how short the page is, but it was exactly what I was in the mood for, because I just read Pride and Prejudice before this, and that is not overly long, but I always find classics to be more of a laborious read, as in I have to take a bit more time to read it. I can't just skim read, which I'm a pretty fast reader. This is exactly what I was in the mood for. It's quirky. I love the way she talks about society, how she's somebody who maybe doesn't fit in with how everyone else acts. And I understand that. So it's a strange, cute little book. Nothing major has happened yet. I don't know if anything major is going to happen yet, which doesn't bother me because I don't mind books about nothing at all. And yeah, so I will update you as I go through with this one. The next book I have is A Court of Mist and Fury. I, for so long, actually, I never really was totally against these books. I just wasn't sure how much I'd like them. I'm a big Harry Potter stan. Lord of the Rings, I've recently got into. So I do like fantasy, but this was falling into a lot of people who liked Colin Hoover and certain book talk books that I just didn't like. Anyway, I didn't particularly absolutely adore the first book, but it was a fun read. Like, it was like, oh yeah, this is easy to read. It's world building, it's fairies, there's a little bit of spice, which I really liked. But I wanted a bit more. I don't know, there just wasn't. My favourite part was probably when she was doing the games at the end. But anyway, apparently it just gets better and better. So I can whether I'll really like Feyre. Is it Feyre? Or not, because I don't particularly love her. Like, she's not, you don't warm to her straight away, or is that just me? I love Tamlin, and definitely Rhysand, is that his name? I can see myself, and what's his name, the red-haired guy, couldn't tell you. And then finally, I got the second from the Elena Ferrante Neapolitan novels, The Story of a New Name. I read the first one maybe a year ago, I'm gonna say. I really enjoyed it, and I always knew that I had the second one at home in Ireland. So when I read the first one, I opened it up. I actually would take it out, but it's right at the bottom of like a thing of books. So it says, from my mom to Maureen, happy birthday. I think she gave it to me when I was like 20. And if anyone knows the cover of that one, it's like the cover of this, it just didn't excite me then, it doesn't excite me now. And only when I saw somebody talking about it, maybe on booktube or something last year, so 10 years after my mum had sent it to me, I was like, oh, that book, I know that book. So I got it at home. So I'm really glad I read it, and I know I should take my mum's recommendations for books, because she does have the same style of books. She's given me some of my favourite books that I've read. One of the ones I read years ago, Pachinko, is definitely up there with one of my top books. Letters from Thailand, and Murakami, which I know now very problematic, but Norwegian Wood, when I was 17, 18, was like the coolest thing ever. I was like obsessed with Murakami for that's all my parents got me for my birthday for many years after that. I haven't read them in years, so I'd be interested to go back and see how I feel about it now when I've grown up a little bit and hearing people talk about the way he speaks of women. But back then, that shit slapped. So I think after I finish Convenience Store Woman, I think I'll go read this next, because these are, I mean, it's a long read, but they're normally quite quick. And then I'll read A Court of Mist and Fury, which should time nicely for my week in Kerry, that I'm going with my family, which, I don't know, I just feel like this'll, not that it's anything like the West of Ireland, but reading a big fantasy book when you're on your holidays, and definitely in somewhere more rural, I think is fun. So that's hopefully what I'll be reading from around the end of May, because this is going to be finished tomorrow. But yeah, so very excited. I love my book club. I love my library card, and so I finished Convenience Store Woman yesterday. I'm disappointed. I'm really sad about it. I love these kind of books usually, but this was just missing something. A deeper understanding of the character was there, but then I felt like I didn't know her, and maybe that was the author's point. Maybe the decisions she made were to make you think, well, she's trying to fit into a society that doesn't accept her, and this is what she thinks she should do. But it was just really frustrating. It wasn't, I don't know, wasn't enjoyable to read. It was such a quick book that actually, you know, I could not say that somebody else wouldn't enjoy this. So I would definitely, if you were thinking of reading it, still read it, because it took barely any time to get through. You could read it in one sitting, so it's not going to have wasted your time. And I'd be interested to see anyone else who's read this. Does anyone else found the middle part of the book, middle to end part of the book, not the very ending, which I was glad it ended the way it did, but did they find it really frustrating and didn't understand it. I didn't know what the point of it was. And the other character that comes into it, God, he just really annoyed me. That's probably 2.5, 3 stars. I'm going to work now. I'm in the edit all day, and then my sister is coming to visit, so I'm really excited. And the sun is back out because it was raining yesterday. Oh, suddenly I'm not depressed anymore. Oh, sun. Just did my outfit of the day, but I did it on portrait. I have to get used to filming on this. It is a maxi skirt from Abercrombie, t-shirt from Abercrombie, which is weird because like I only have a few pieces from there, but I feel like they're very staple, very everyday, kind of nice summer day. Now, will I put a jumper on? I'll have to check the temperature. These are from last year, but I'm sure they still have them. And yeah, it's nice to be able to wear summer clothes. My favorite time for dressing. Hi, it's Maureen. So I'm coming on to wrap up this video and just tell you where I am in my reading. I am about, I'd say 30% of the way through the story of A New Name, and I'm really enjoying it. I've been, you know those times when you're reading and your mind is just wandering elsewhere? I'm struggling a little bit to keep, and it's nothing to do with this book, because the book, when my mind just rests, I actually do love it, but I just feel like I need to concentrate a bit better. The way that she speaks about feelings when you're that age, like I remember being 16, 17 and having friends at that time. I remember being really insecure, jealous. I would be jealous. Yeah, I just really like the way that she writes about these two girls and their friendship and everything that happens in their area they live in Naples. And there is some really heartbreaking stuff at the start of this book that I found really tough to read, but it's no, it's really good. My weekend with my sister and my niece was so lovely. We had such nice weather. We had such a fancy weekend. It was lovely. We really went bougie with it, and she was like, I'll treat you because I'm staying in your flat. I met them at Victoria Station. We walked back and it was a lovely evening. Went to a little kind of, it's like an outside area that they open in the summer, and we sat down and I had an aperol, she had a glass of wine, had a little chat, then we got home, had an early night, and on Saturday we went out and met my other sister who lives in London, and we went to Zephyr in Notting Hill. I think that's how you say it. And by the way, any pronunciations throughout this video with any names, like the names of the authors, I'm really sorry if I'm getting them wrong. Actually, I really should have looked them up before I say them, and I will do that for the next time because it annoys me when people say my name wrong. So Apologies for that. But went to Zafir. I've been wanting to go there for so long. So we walked from my house all the way to Notting Hill. It took about an hour. Thinking of going there, go. But it is like a treat. It's more expensive. We did the pescatarian tasting menu and they just knew. I was like, I'm not a fish eater, and it was just so good. Such a nice weekend. And now 'tis Tuesday. The greyness is back. Let me show you. That is what we are dealing with. It is grey and it is miserable again, but that's fine. We'll keep the positive vibes up. I apologise for the quality of this video, but I just wanted to get it up before I go to Kerry at the weekend for a week with my family, which I will vlog as well, but I wanted to get my first video up so that's done and I can start thinking of other video ideas. I'm going to leave that here and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. I think I'm going to post this on Wednesday, or yeah, I think Wednesday. So have a lovely rest of your week, lovely weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.